Hey everyone, thank you for joining me at DrCyberLogic. This is Chris, and today we're going to be doing the unboxing of the HydroX Corsair water cooling system. Now, this is the series I've been waiting to do for a very long time. I had to wait for the parts to come in. I'm going to be doing a 5-part series, so please subscribe if you want to see each part. The next part I'm going to be doing is installing the GPU block onto my NVIDIA 2080 Ti. And then after this, the third episode will be the construction of the computer itself. And then I'm going to do another episode on how to bend the tubing. That way, because for me, that's the most intimidating part. That's the main reason I did not want to get into water cooling to begin with, was fiddling around with the heat gun, bending the tubing, being afraid I might bend it too far, heat it up too quickly, heat it up too slow. So I'm going to do a video with instructions on how to do that. So let's start out with the ordering the parts. Very easy on the HydroX Corsair website. You select what case you have, what motherboard, what CPU, GPU, whether you're going to be overclocking your GPU or not, and then you can determine what parts you want based on that. The one thing that they did not offer from doing that automatic setup was the parts to do the drainage, because you should always put something in to be able to drain your loop, because this has to be maintained. That's one of the things that's different between a custom loop and an AIO. With an AIO, you just set it and forget it. It's like those ovens. But with the open loop, you need to drain this. They say every 2 years. I'll most likely be doing it every year, because just to prevent residue buildup and issues within the system. Now, let's start with the unboxing. I guess first, let's start with the CPU. So let's get started with the CPU block. Cut off the plastic. Alright, I am very excited. Most of the parts in my computer, the only parts in my computer that are not from Corsair are the monitor and my motherboard, which is Asus. I prefer the Asus motherboards because I'm used to it, and I know how to overclock with their BIOS. Alright, so this is how the CPU block looks out of the case, and it comes with the brackets for both, whether you're using Intel or AMD. So either one, you'll have the correct brackets to use. And looking at these brackets, they look very sturdy compared to the ones that came with my AIO that I'm using from Corsair right now. So these look much better and more solid. So I'm looking forward to using that. But what you mainly came here to see is the CPU block. Alright, so this is the CPU block. I like how you can see inside and you can see where the water goes through with the ridges. And that's going to be much better than looking at the block that's on the AIO with the lights. Also, it comes with like a honeycomb application of thermal paste. I still don't know if I'm going to try out the stock thermal paste just to see how the thermals are, or if I'm going to reapply with the M4 thermal paste. I might just try this one out just for the thermals video that I'm going to do at the end to make sure everything is stock. So I'll probably leave this thermal paste on to do my testing. Just to show you a close-up of the brackets, we have 2 sets of brackets. We have the one from Intel and the one from AMD, which on these are metal compared to the plastic ones on the AIO. Now my next one I'm going to do the box opening on is going to be my Corsair GPU water block. This one in particular is for the 2080 Ti. They do have other ones if you have the 2080 or some other, I believe believe they do have one for a couple of the AMD GPUs as well, but since I have the 2080 Ti, I'm going to show this one. So let's get this one open. This one is the one I'm really excited about. If you want to see how to install it, please watch episode 2 in my 5 series episodes on the water cooling. This one feels extremely heavy. Just to let you know, this, just from holding the box, I'm thinking this might be more heavy after I install it onto the GPU than just the fans themselves that are on there now. So just be aware of that. Hopefully it doesn't cause any sagging with the cards once these are installed. Alright, so this one comes with a wooden box instead of the plastic one like the CPU block. Let's open this up. And there it goes. That is very nice looking. Let's take it out. Oh wow, this is heavy. I was not expecting this card to be this heavy. You can see on the side it says the GeForce RTX. Get into a close-up of the GPU block. This, I believe, is the coolest thing ever. This is super heavy. That is solid metal. This is like the coolest thing ever. It has a built-in flow meter. My card is not going to be a vertical mount. I'm going to mount it horizontally. So I'm not going to be able to see that flow meter, but in the future I might decide to change it to a vertical mount because my case does allow it. You can see right here, right where the plate goes over the actual GPU. So that is really cool as well. I cannot wait to install this. If you look at the back, this does have the thermal paste already applied on there as well. So like I said, for stock testing, I'm going to leave that thermal paste on and measure the thermals with this compared to the stock Founders Edition fans that are on there now. But I am really looking forward to this. This is probably the most exciting part for me to do, is the GPU. So we got this. What else is in the box? So we got a tool, the yellow tool to remove the plugs, and then we got the plugs for each side right here, and comes with the screws to apply the back plate. Now this, when you purchase this one, it actually comes with the back plate compared to some of the other ones. And this one feels like metal as well, but this one comes with a back plate. If you order some of the other ones from some of the other sites, I believe most of the time you have to purchase the back plate separately. And I do like how the X on the back plate is very, like, I wouldn't say hard to see, but it doesn't stick out. It doesn't try to make itself known. So especially if you look at it from a side, it looks very elegant. So I'm glad they did that with this back plate. And I am actually really looking forward to doing this next video on the GPU block. So please subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss any of the other parts to this series. So keep in mind, episode 2 of the HydroX series is going to be on the GPU block, installing it. Let's take a look at the pump reservoir combo. Now remember, this reservoir might look small, but having the size of the reservoir does not matter when it comes in terms of cooling. Keep that in mind. So just if you have an extremely large reservoir compared to a very small reservoir, it's going to do this. Your cooling is going to be the exact same. Open this box. HydroX, and here we go. The booklets, warranty. One of these have come with every single box I've opened so far, so it has step-by-step instructions on how to install each of these. So if you're a beginner like me, it's going to be very easy. So I'm looking forward to that. It comes with mounting brackets. And what else do we have in here? Got some screws, more screws, washers, nuts, plugs with the plug tool, just like we saw with the GPU. So now that we have the box open, let's go over some of the parts that it comes with. Right here is the pump reservoir combo. So on the top, you have 2 holes up here. You got 2 here on the side, 1 here, and 1 here. So you have multiple exit points and entrance points. Comes with this cable for power and lighting. Or actually pump, sorry. Pump and power, and then lighting here. Alright. Also comes with the mounting brackets. And this is pretty cool. Right here is a temperature sensor. So if you want to get your liquid temperature, will go to that. And you plug it directly into your Corsair Commander Pro. Which, they didn't send the Commander Pro with my equipment, because I do have the Obsidian 500 RGB SE case, which came with the Commander Pro. So if you do not have that case, they're going to send you that as well, because you cannot use this without the Commander Pro. And that will be an extra cost. But if you have that case, that's already included, so you don't have to pay for that. Now let's take a look at the radiators. I chose to go with just a front-facing radiator and the exhaust radiator. I could have gone with the top one as well, just to lessen the fan noise so I don't have to work as hard, but decided to, as of right now, just do the 2, and then maybe in the future I'll put a 3rd one in there. That's what's great about a custom loop. You can always add to it if you need to. So let's open up my 360 radiator. We're zoomed in. Let's take a look at the 360mm radiator. Now, how radiators are measured, 360 takes three 120 fans. So the fan size would be 1, 2, 3. That's why this radiator here is the 120. And if I decide to get the 3rd radiator, which will go on the top, will be a 240 fan, because 240 radiator, because it holds 2 of the 120 fans. So let's open this up. And wow, this seems more solid than their AIO. And you can see how you can see through the fins. So hopefully this has decent fin density to get some good cooling going on. And it's not too tight to restrict airflow, but it's not too little that it decreases surface area for that heat to disperse. So I'm not going to open the 120 on camera, because it's just going to be the exact same thing except a 1/3 of the size. This is going to be exciting. So let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the fittings. Alright, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the fittings. Like I said, the only fittings that it came with were the hardline fittings. I went ahead and went back on the site to order the Y splitter, a fill port, and the valve, because I want to be able to, remember, you don't want to have this all put together And then a year from now or 2 years from now, when you decide to change your coolant, you have no way of emptying your system. That would be the worst thing ever. So I'm surprised they didn't have an option to include this kind of fittings into the purchase. But I do recommend you going with it, and it's easier to put in when you're first building your custom loop than having a year from now, 2 years from now, when you want to change that coolant. Let's say you like to change the color of your coolant every week or so. How are you going to get this out of your system unless you have ports and valves to remove it? So I do recommend putting in the drainage as you're building your system for the first time. You will not regret it. So let's open up and take a look at the hardline fittings. Keep in mind they do have, it's not all hardline. You could get the soft tubing as well to the tubing. So here's one of the fittings, and it's very easy to put together. Don't forget the O-ring inside, because then your system will leak, and you really do not want a leak. Alright, so that's what those look like. So these are what you're going to be putting onto your GPU, your radiators, your CPU block, and your reservoir. So, alright, so let's take a look at the valve. Let's open this up. Now, one thing to keep in mind, these are very heavy, so you know they're good quality. And I don't know if you can see inside, but you can open and close it, and it's actually really cool how that opens and closes, but it works perfectly. You can choose any color from black to nickel to white, and I believe they have a gold. So keep that in mind. It does not have to be the black. I went with black because my system's black, and I'm going with the clear cooling just because I don't want any discoloration to my system, as well as it's going to take away from the lighting, and that's included with the Corsair water blocks and reservoir, and I want to be able to see through it and see that heat dispersing from the CPU and the GPU block. So this is the valve, which is going to be used for draining the fluid out of my system when I do my maintenance. Alright, and then let's look at the fill port. Like I said, all of these are optional. So this right here is the fill port. It's actually kind of cool looking. So take a look at that. Alright. The Y splitter, this is what's going to go. This is going to go, the tubing is going to go here, come out up, going towards the GPU. Down here is going to be attached to the valve, which is going to allow me to switch on and off the valve so I can drain my system whenever I need to. I can't stress enough the importance of installing a valve to be able to drain your system. The two last things we're going to go over. I spoke a little bit about the fluids. They come in a few different colors. I went with the clear, but they also have red, blue, yellow, so you get to choose which one you prefer. So I don't I didn't want staining to my system, so I went with the clear. And finally, the tubing. You can get 3 different types of tubing. You can get the 10 millimeter, the 14 millimeter, and then you can get the soft tubing. Now I'm going to do a video. My 3rd video is going to be bending the tubing to arrange in your system. So don't forget to catch that video. Please subscribe to see the future videos. Remember, video 1 was the unboxing. Video 2 is going to be installing the GPU block. Video 3 is going to be how to bend the tubing. Video 4, episode 4, is going to be installing the system into the water cooling loop into the system. And the last video is going to be comparing thermals from before and after installing the Corsair water block and custom cooling system. So I went with the 10 millimeter. There is no difference in thermals if you get the 10 or the 14. It is literally personal preference. And that goes for the soft tubing as well. If you prefer soft tubing so you don't have to deal with bending this over heat, because you will need a heat gun to bend these, then go with the soft tubing where you can just cut them to the proper size and install them. The reasons I decided to go with the hard tubing instead of the soft, for 1, it looks better. 2, it'll make for a better video. And 3, soft tubing, depending on what dye you use in your system, eventually it's going to start staining the soft tubing. So just be aware that if you do decide to go with the soft tubing, you're most likely going to have to change that more often than if you went with the hard tubing. Okay, but it does take a lot less skill. So if you're a beginner and you want to just get a custom cooling without going through the hassle of bending. Alright guys, thank you for joining me for my unboxing video. This was episode 1 of a 5-part series. Please subscribe and also comment, let me know what you think below, and please, if you enjoyed my video, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Alright, so I'll see you in episode 2 when we go to install the GPU block onto the 2080 Ti. Alright, please subscribe and you guys have a great day.